I'm Jared Willits, and welcome to My Thoughts for What They're Worth, episode number 26. Before we get started, as always, I do ask that if you like what we're doing, like it on here on YouTube or Spotify. Share, that'd be great, or even greater. Go ahead and subscribe. My Thoughts for What They're Worth. I'm starting out today talking about, I'm working on a movie script. Maybe a made-for-TV thing, maybe Hallmark Channel, I don't know. I'm going to shop it around. The working title for my movie script is called Defiance, Denial, Delusion, and Deception. It's all about the patriarch of a large family who runs a large corporation. But in recent days, he has been suffering from dementia, kind of losing his grip on life and his company, so on and so forth. However, as the movie progresses, we discover that his power-hungry, conniving wife and son are keeping this from the board of directors and all people involved with the company, so they can hang on to the power and the perks that come with this large company. They're secretly running the company now after a time, and the whole thing starts to fall apart. And that's just a movie. I'm not here to talk about my movie script. I'm here to talk about presidential politics. Let's see here. Donald Trump. We're not going to talk about Donald Trump because he's very much a known entity. You know what you're getting with Donald Trump. But things are getting a little crazy with Joe Biden. Can you imagine what things are like at the White House today, right now? How the disarray, the confusion, what are we going to do? You got this side and you got that side. It's just pretty interesting, I think. So what would happen? Let's see here. We have all these people calling for Joe Biden to just bow out, including all of a sudden George Clooney, a lifelong Democrat, big supporter of the president for, so many years and all that. He's saying, well, now, really time has kind of caught up with you, Mr. President. Time to move on. So what happens if Joe Biden does say, all right, okay, fine, I'm gonna move out? Well, going back to the movie script, a lot of people believe that the driving force behind Joe Biden these days is Jill Biden. Some people call her Lady Macbeth, and Hunter and other members of the family. If he bows out, they lose all the perks. They're no longer flying across the world on Air Force One. No more state dinners. No more of that favors for favors kind of thing that all kind of winds up for them. So maybe they really don't want to lose the status and the power that comes with being a first family. Who knows? So they lose all that. So realistically speaking, who would be on the ticket if he goes? That'd be the Vice President, Kamala Harris. That just makes logistical sense, also political sense, that she'd be on the top of the ticket. So that'd be probably the way it goes. The big question after that is, who's going to be number two? Who's going to be Vice President on the ticket? I would guess it would have to be, politically speaking, a white guy. Okay, kind of balance out the ticket. A vice presidential candidate is always the person who's kind of filling in the gaps where the number one guy or lady is lacking. Maybe it's going to be Gavin Newsom. He's got a pretty good high profile. I think he's got a pretty good ego too. I'm not sure he would settle for number two. Anyway, who knows if that's going to happen? Joe Biden keeps on saying he's going to stay in it, and maybe the aforementioned family really want him to stay in it. So if he stays in. Here we go. If he wins the election in November, he is essentially giving the Resolute desk, the Oval Office, to Kamala Harris. I mean, let's be reasonable about this. He's not going to make it another 4 years. He's not. So if he wins, she'll get the presidency, more than likely. Is that good, bad, or somewhere in the middle? You decide. If he loses and gives the Oval Office up to Donald Trump, who's to blame but himself? Ego and family pressures and political pressures from all the people who want to keep their job in the White House. It's an interesting scenario. Hard to know exactly what's going to go on with the whole thing. Anyway, we're going to watch it. We all are, America, and the rest of the world, I really think. In the end, I say what I always say. Joe Biden and Donald Trump, the best America has to offer? Well, that's where we are. And those are my thoughts for what they're worth. I'm Jared Willits.